Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We are going to start in just 5 minutes. If you have any preliminary questions, just let us know. Um, it's you guys are all muted and have no cameras off just so that there's no interruptions during the presentations. But if you raise your hand, we can unmute you. All right, I think we're good to go and get started with brief introductions. So if the presenters want to introduce themselves in the order that they're presenting, so we can start with Dream and Green.
Hi, everybody. My name is Barbara Martinez Guerrero. I'm representing Dream and Green today. Happy to be here and not only present, but also learn about these other amazing organizations joining us.
Right, Sophia Bond.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sophia Bond. I'm the Education and Outreach Associate at Miami Waterkeeper. I'm very excited to be here today, and I think this is an amazing webinar, and I hope to learn a lot more about the different partnerships that are going on. Thank you.
Thank you, and Youth Environmental Alliance.
Hi guys, my name is Mallory Harbor. I represent Youth Environmental Alliance. Happy Thursday, and I'm excited to see what everybody has in store for us today. Thank you.
Thank you to all our presenters. Just a quick introduction. My name is Mary Knowles from the South Florida Regional Planning Council. This is our first outreach and webinar with schools across our region. We cover Miami-Dade, Broward, and Monroe counties. And this is part of an initiative to share resources with the schools that already do such an amazing job. So we're really trying to connect schools with local nonprofit partners that are here to help with environmental education and stewardship. So with that being said, I'll turn it over to Dream and Green to present.
Thank you so much, Marian. Let me share my screen. And if anybody from the presenters can give me a thumbs up, you guys can see.
You're good to go.
Perfect. So as I mentioned, I'm representing Dream and Green. We are an organization that's been around since 2006, and our purpose is really to promote environmental sustainability. Our mission is threefold, but really to empower behavioral change and emphasize education, focusing on energy conservation and sustainability, but really raising awareness and a deeper understanding of our environment, and empowering and inspiring children and youth and young adults to take action and help us solve these environmental issues that we have to deal with. So who we are, as I mentioned, we've been around for 18 years, started in Miami-Dade County and now have branched out to neighboring counties in South Florida. We target all age groups, but we have a particular emphasis on K through 12. Now we have programs in Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. Our program specifically for schools is free, flexible, and complement any green initiative that is being done at the district level. Our flagship program is the Green Schools Challenge, in which schools learn the basics of sustainability and build the foundation for green school. Green schools are a national and even international movement that looks at the school holistically. Not only what is being taught in the classroom, but the operations of the building itself and the administration mission. The schools earn special designations, certificates, banners, and prizes as a way to reward their work throughout the school year. And we started mainly trying to help schools save energy and water and reduce waste. And that's something that we've continued to develop and help schools do energy and water audits, even waste audits, and figure out ways in which they can reduce their carbon footprint at the school level. We involve students in real world, no cost solutions that they can learn at home, at school, and then transfer over to home. We aim to provide dedicated sustainability education to South Florida schools by providing hands-on activities that promote conservation behaviors. And as I mentioned, to help save energy and water at school and at home. We teach about the natural links of natural resources, climate change, and community sustainability. And the program, this is an overview graphic of what the program entails for the entire year, starting with a professional development training for teachers. We also have administrators and facility staff and even parents that attend this training workshop every year. Then they transfer the information from that professional development over to their students. And at the beginning of the year, we ask each school to do the three main pillars where you see there in light blue, where they go and create a green team and develop a green pledge that they post in their school. They conduct an environmental self-assessment that is based off of the Green Apple designation from the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. And through that environmental self-assessment, they outline an environmental goal that they wish to work on the rest of the year. We have then free lessons in a lesson plan format throughout the rest of October through March on 6 main themes that you see here in the light gray, from energy efficiency and conservation, water quality and conservation, waste reduction and recycling, green living, which encompasses green careers and green buildings, alternative transportation, and food security. The end of the year is focused on organizing eco summits where the students showcase what they have done throughout the year. And then we host an end of the year awards ceremony, which is happening soon for us in the next couple of weeks. So what is a green school? I mentioned it's a national movement. Green schools really strive to achieve success in 3 pillars: to reduce the environmental impacts and costs of how we run schools, improve the occupants' health and performance, and increase sustainability literacy. What we like about the green schools, it's again this holistic approach that is there. Why do we focus on schools? Because there's over 100,000 public schools in the US, and it's where we feel like we can make a really deep impact. And so it's the second largest public infrastructure investment after transportation, and sometimes it's overlooked. As I mentioned, energy has been at the core of what we focus on. And, American schools are responsible for as much greenhouse gas pollution as coal-fired plants or cars on the road, because of the amount of schools that we have. They also spend about $8 billion per year on energy costs, and it's the largest expense after personnel. So we started really with focusing on reducing energy and water to make sure that the schools had more funding for, more teachers, more activities, more materials, rather than just having to spend it on the operations of the building. And it's estimated by the U.S. Department of Energy that improvements at schools could save 30% of their budget overall. To date, through the programs that we have implemented, we estimate that we've been able to save Miami-Dade County Public Schools $4.5 million in energy costs that equate to almost 50 million kilowatts of hours saved. And really, it's about CO2 emissions, reducing or offsetting those, what that make our planet hotter. So the benefits, I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir when I talk about the benefits of environmental education, but really is to focus on building critical thinking, problem solving, and decision-making skills. And it teaches individuals to understand various sides of an environmental issue and make informed and responsible decisions. The last couple of years, we've really tried to match our content to the UN Sustainable Development Goals, so that students understand that this is a global issue in which we all have to work together. So all of our themes have a tie-in to one or more of these Sustainable Development Goals. One of the incentives that we have for schools is that we provide grants for projects that align with the monthly challenges, up to $350. These grants are open to all grade levels, and the idea is to have students work collaboratively to develop a project idea and write a proposal. We also have competition grants to help schools participate in additional competitions that partners, either the district or other organizations run, and up to $150 goes to competition entry fees, materials, and transportation for the event. Some projects that we have seen, especially really popular programs, are building butterfly gardens, buying rain barrels, getting recycling bins for all of the classrooms, even putting additional bike racks to promote alternative transportation. One of our newest initiatives is our Green Homes Challenge, where we're introducing a school to home connection. So all of the lessons, especially in the energy, water, and waste, have an extension that can be done at home with parents. And so the idea is that students go home, share about their lessons, and then practice sustainability efforts and share on social media what they have done. We also highlight resilience projects at the high school level specifically to make that tie into green jobs. We have one specific initiative that we've been doing and partnering with Florida International University this year, also with University of Miami School of Architecture, in which students sign up to participate in our design and build competition. This year was focused on nature-based solutions. Each year they have a different theme, but they have to reimagine and redesign a location locally that we set forth every day, and then they have to create these architectural models and present to architects, government officials, and the public to really show what they have thought about and redesigning to these green buildings. So really our design and build competition promotes green buildings, landscape architecture, and urban design. which are also STEM fields. And so we really want to promote that they can look at these STEM fields for the future. Other partnerships, among many, and to make that tie in with the natural connection, we have citizen science opportunities that we highlight to be able to get students out and identify plants and animals, look at what they're collecting in their neighborhood in terms of plastic and other waste, looking at water quality and tracking flooding and extreme heat in their neighborhoods as a way to connect with government and scientists to be able to solve these problems. We have various resources for teachers, including lining up resources from the North American Association of Environmental Educators, EPA resources, and the School Guide for Climate Education with earthday.org. So we pride ourselves in sharing these resources when we do professional development with teachers and implementing these guidelines and ideas into lessons. To kind of wrap up, we don't do this all by ourselves. We have an amazing group of organizations that we partner with, and this group keeps building since we've expanded to Broward and Palm Beach County. And these organizations either help us with resources, partner to organize events and lessons, or even provide opportunities for different presentations at schools where organizations will go and present on different topics. What we see is that Florida is facing a critical environmental challenge, and communities are in a way environmentally illiterate and are not engaged in environmental stewardship. So what we try to do is give them resources, tools, and the knowledge to solve these problems. Teachers, by improved access to information, creating a network of teachers, and really integrate concepts at the appropriate levels. And with students, to increase their conservation knowledge, increase their interest in STEM disciplines and careers, and active engagement in activities that require students to find solutions. That's a little bit about us, and you can follow us on our social media platforms. We're also on LinkedIn and feature photos every year of different events and opportunities that we provide for students. And here is my contact information and my program manager's contact information in case you're interested in learning more about our programs or any of our resources. And I really appreciate your attention. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And just so that you all know, the meeting is being recorded, and the presentations and recording will be shared after the meeting. So if you're not catching everything, don't worry, you'll have materials to reference back to. I'll pass it off to Sophia from Miami Waterkeeper.
Perfect, thank you. Let me share my screen. Here we go. All right, can you guys see that? Perfect. Okay. All right, so this is Miami Waterkeeper. For those of you that have not heard of Miami Waterkeeper before, we're a local nonprofit and we work to protect Biscayne Bay and local waterways. Our mission is grounded in science, rooted in nature, and driven by community. And so because we are locally based, we try to focus on Miami's threats and challenges. And this includes clean water, habitat protection, sea level rise. And so in order to combat these different challenges, we have a three-pronged approach. So we have our science and research team, our legal team, and then our community education and outreach team, which is what I do. So I'm going to get into a little bit more of the details of what our education and outreach team does in order to enhance Miami's resilience. Before I get going, though, I just wanted to say Miami Waterkeeper is part of the Greater Waterkeeper Alliance. It's an international organization, so if you guys live anywhere else, it's all over the world. So there's bay keepers, sound keepers, river keepers. So wherever you go, if you're traveling this summer, feel free to check it out and see if there's like a Waterkeeper in that area. So back to Miami though. So the main threats that we try to focus on are clean water, thriving habitats, and sea level rise resilience. So our science and policy and education teams all do amazing work in order to ensure that we have clean water to swim in, fish in, that our habitats are thriving. So in some cases, we even get into litigation if necessary. And then sea level rise resilience is something that's extremely important nowadays, especially because of these like max 100-year events that are happening in like just a day. So it's a very important place that we're in, and so it's a very challenging place as well. So again, these are our 3 teams, but now I want to get into our projects. So the first project I'm going to speak on is our Green Infrastructure Accelerator project. This is one of the most exciting projects I've been able to work on. It's actually what started me, like a passion in me in order to start my master's degree in green infrastructure and resilience. So this program, it was started through an EPA grant, and it essentially is, the goal is to integrate green infrastructure into Miami-Dade County's built environment. Our focus is on public land in high use areas, and these areas we want to be able to use and transform so that we can combat flooding, heat, habitat loss, etc. The way that we have been structuring this whole program is through outreach. So we don't want to go into a community and say, okay, this land is not being used, so let's just start building here and make a rain garden here. We want to be able to actually go out into the community and get their input first. There's a high priority for low-income, vulnerable communities. So communities that normally, if they were to be normally that do experience these threats, they wouldn't be chosen for like funding, or they wouldn't be able to create a green infrastructure project on their own. So these communities include Overtown, Little River, El Portal, Hialeah, Homestead, just to name a few. So before I get into the actual projects, like how we've been doing our outreach, what is green infrastructure in the first place? So green infrastructure is how we use nature in order to protect and help us. So like trees, plants, other natural features to combat the challenges of flooding, pollution, etc., extreme heat, stuff like that. The amazing benefits of green infrastructure are not just that it reduces flooding, stormwater, etc., but it also has these co-benefits that are really important when it comes to the amount of money that you put into a project. It's really important that you get as much out of it. And with green infrastructure, you're getting what you want and more. So the co-benefits include air quality, water quality, recreation, aesthetics, and livability. All of that is also incorporated into the benefits of having green infrastructure. So some examples that are already being used here in South Florida are living shorelines, our rain gardens, enhancing our wetlands, and also urban forests. So incorporating nature into the built environment. So these are some of the examples of what green infrastructure looks like visually. So we have our blue streets. I'm actually here on in Miracle Mile right now. That's one example of a green infrastructure project. Giralda Avenue is also another example here in Coral Gables. There's many examples of green infrastructure, and most of them are in very high-income neighborhoods. So this project is very much targeted towards neighborhoods that don't have that funding. So how does our green infrastructure project work? What we did was first, of course, go out into the communities to get their input. So we've engaged with over 15 different communities or municipalities. We've gotten over 200 local nominations for areas that could use green infrastructure. And we've also been able to engage with community members through 30 different events. So that was the outreach portion, but what comes after that? So, but just because we got the information from the community does not mean that the community input is over. So we have established workshops and more community conversations. So once we got that 200 plus nominations, we went out into those communities that got the most nominations, and we wanted to hear more from them. We also have been partnering with a design firm. They're called Local. They do landscape, urban design, environmental science, and they will be helping with the actual design of the green infrastructure project. So one concrete example of how that's been going is El Portal and Larchmont Park. So we went into the community. This is an example of what that looked like. We have our poster boards where they have their sticky notes. We have examples of green infrastructure and some follow-up questions. We also provide them information with how that's beneficial. So, for example, we had a rain garden. Why is that beneficial? How does this look in your community? Is there anything else that you would want from something like this? And then from there, we presented all of those outcomes to Local. And Local actually did the environmental design portion that includes solar panels, charging stations, bioswales, tree canopy. All of the benefits that we wanted and the community wanted was incorporated in this design. So it's really exciting project. And it's something that we are doing in many different areas in Miami. And we wouldn't be able to do it without the partnership of the EPA and the Pisces Foundation, who are funding this. Some other examples, though, of how we are enhancing resilience in South Florida is our habitat restorations. These are amazing events where we partner with the Environmentally Endangered Lands Program for Miami-Dade County. We partner with Miami-Dade Parks and the City of Miami Parks and Recreation Department in order to help these largely understaffed programs and organizations in the upkeep of the parks and their habitats. So the goal is to remove invasive species, plant native species, and educate the community on why that's important. Usually in these events, the main questions that we get are, like, it's a plant, why are we removing plants? Aren't plants good for the environment? And technically, I mean, yeah, they do provide a lot of benefits, but if it's an invasive species, we need to be able to educate them on why removing an invasive species is so important. And I think it's such an amazing program, and I really enjoy it. We've gone to so many parks all around. We have a very good relationship with the City of Miami Parks and Recreation Department in Virginia Key, which is just covered in morning glory and all these invasive species. So we go there often because they grow so fast. But the community is always very excited about it. Another example of our youth education programs is another example of our enhancing resilience in Miami is our youth education programs. These are where we partner with organizations like Blue Missions, Breakthrough Miami, Eco Adventures, just to name a few, in order to make sure that our youth is aware of how they contribute to environmental resilience and ways that they can actually spread that word. So like Dreaming Green was mentioning, schools are such an amazing facet that we can use in order to spread the word and make resilience a priority in our community. And so we do use that, especially during our summer programming. We have our Yeah Days, which are our youth environmental activation days with Breakthrough Miami. So they're amazing events. Something else that I wanted to mention before I hop off is the Underline workshops that are coming up. These workshops are from a grant from the Underline Foundation, and we will be partnering up with Tropical Audubon Society and the peer group in order to educate people about the importance of nature-based solutions, native species, things like that. These are more targeted towards adults, but youth are always welcome to come. They're going to be more hands-on activities where people can really learn about the importance of resilience and enhancing it. In our workshop, the one that Miami Waterkeeper is hosting, it's going to be talking about how runoff works and why we need nature-based solutions with that. So the activity that we have, it's still in like a prototype kind of phase, but it's going to essentially show what runoff looks like with and without nature. And so with nature, we have that absorption capacity, and we are able to filter out a lot of the pollution that without nature would otherwise go straight into our bay and could lead to algal blooms, health risks, stuff like that. So that's a very quick summary of 4 of our amazing, very complex programs. If you have any questions at all, here is my contact information. Please feel free to email me if you have any more questions or if you'd like to collaborate with us. Also, our socials are very active, so if you want to see any upcoming events that we're hosting, please follow us on Instagram and our socials. Great. Thank you, guys.
Awesome.
Right.
Thank you, Mallory. Feel free to start sharing your screen.
You got it. Thank you, Sophia, for that awesome presentation. While I'm trying to share my screen real quick. There we go. Here we are. I hope everyone's having a good Thursday. Maybe. Still working on it. I apologize. There it is. I see it. Is everybody else? Fantastic. Again, my name is Mallory Harbor. I work with Youth Environmental Alliance. And I'm here to talk to you about creating school environmental resiliency through what we love to call eco actions, right? So YEA, Youth Environmental Alliance, has been around for 20 years. We're actually celebrating our 20th year anniversary. We've been around since 2005, and we have dedicated pretty much our lives, right, to interactive programs that emphasize education about science, conservation, and environmental stewardship. Those are 3 very important things that I think we can all agree has kind of lacked in the past few years, and we really want to bring back. And these enjoyable and engaging initiatives, they involve not only the youth, but we involve businesses and we involve the community as well through different actions like restorations, like a public doing restorations as well, if anyone is interested outside of school. And we also promote sustainability in a multitude of different settings. So we can go to home, school, office, or out in the community park, depending on what people need. We're there for you. So to get started on what we actually do or what you guys more specifically need are eco actions. So all of our classes equip students with skills and confidence and hopefully the drive to create a positive change, not only outside in the community, but within school, because I don't know how everybody, I know everyone is a teacher in here, but I'm not completely positive, but schools have lacked on gardens and green and butterflies, and the children have kind of really missed it. I think you can tell with some of these photos. YEA kind of goes in and we can do things like food forests, where we create complete pizza gardens for the students with tomatoes and basil, or we can create butterfly gardens where students get the opportunity to actually see caterpillars and butterflies and interact with them firsthand, which is the most important. And throughout the school year, they not only get to create these gardens, but they get to watch them grow, which I think is what really resonates the responsibility within them, right? Because they get to see the process. They plant the seed, they tend to the soil, they water it every class period, and then throughout the school year and at the end of the school year, they have these incredible lush gardens that you can see right here in our photos. And my favorite part, I think, and hopefully the students' favorite part of these food forests and gardens are kind of the end, where they get to see it all come to fruition. No pun intended, but they get to use all of these fruits and vegetables that are in their garden and create meals with it, right? Because that's even teaching or creating a bit more responsibility. Like, not only did they grow all of their own food and get to watch it grow, but they also got to use it in different scenarios and eat it, which is the best part because they're tasting, they're using all of their senses. And almost every single one of our programs involves these different eco actions that get them into the environment and get their hands dirty a little bit. And we don't only do different food forests and butterfly gardens, but we also organize trash cleanups. So if we have a program that's talking about like coral bleaching, per se, right? Or the ocean just in general. We kind of tie in a school cleanup with it so that way they can kind of make sure, like, hey, I have to take responsibility right here because it's going to flow back into our environment, into our oceans, and create more harm. And hopefully that gives them a little sense of community and responsibility. And not only that, but we actually have programs where we allow students to take home plants, and each like Dream and Green, how they're working to create initiatives that take home, not just from school. So we have them take plants home and trees, depending on the class. And so they can also share that with their family, their friends, or whoever's around and be proud of what they have and understand why it's so important for our earth and our planet to be able to plant these plants. Now, our commitment to education and the environment is reflected in every project we undertake, ensuring that school combines nature and learning, because I think we have definitely seen, all of us who have worked well within the environment and with schools, we can see the look on their faces. I tried to share some photos where you can just see the pure joy of what they're doing and just the knowledge that they're getting from this. Right here, the young lady with the butterfly landing on her hand, we can't just place a butterfly on our hand and take that picture in the moment. It just happened. And for her, it was a magical moment. And these kids digging in the dirt with their mangroves, getting their hands on it and immersing them within nature, I think is what we all kind of want to pursue to get them to really rein onto this concept. And coming from that, when we're saying immersing them, we do have multiple field trip opportunities. We do dune restoration, mangrove, and lakeshore restorations. And this provides like a really great hands-on experience that enables students to comprehend more of the global issue, not just, hey, we're in school and I'm learning it in a classroom. They get to get out into the community, which builds more resilient communities and equips students with those skills for that. Just a couple of photos from our restorations. Personally, we have a lakeshore one. We even do like seining, net seining within the water to see what kind of critters we find, and it just kind of adds to their love of nature, which is fantastic. And a couple of different opportunities I'm sure that you guys have heard of. A more recent one is Ducks Unlimited classes and field trips. I heard that is almost all environmental 9th grade classes. I want to say across the country, if I'm not mistaken. So all of Florida is involved with this. We do coastal engagements, wetland engagements, and what we call Away with Wasted Water, which is like wetlands, cypress swamps, and marshes that have been recreated from our water county. And what we call eco-friendly is EASY. That's our personal initiative. It stands for Education and Engagement to Active Stewardship with YEA. And those are both in-school classes with an eco action, like those trash cleanups that we do, or a garden involved with that. And that's specifically in Broward County for all you Broward County teachers. And then we also have an EPA grant for field trips where we do wetland and beach restorations, and not just the restorations, we kind of immerse them within the environment as well. And that's all over Broward, Palm Beach, and Miami-Dade. And so we cover, I would say, a multitude of counties. If you guys are in need of any of these, I did put up the QR code for Project EASY and the EPA field trip. Just as a reminder, the EPA field trip is Miami-Dade, Palm Beach, and Broward, and Project EASY is only Broward, okay? I'll just give you a second in case anyone wants to scan that really quickly. All right. And then I totally blanked, but I wish I had put my partners on there. Can you guys see my screen right here? with the partners? Probably not.
No, we cannot.
I'm going to include a
Still see
slide.
the
I
QR code.
apologize so you guys can see all of our different partners and kind of connect with them as well, because that's the whole point, right? To be able to connect with different partnerships that have the same alignments as we do. So I'll make sure to include that and send it on over. But to conclude, I thank you guys for listening. And just as a reminder, YEA offers exciting science and environmental programs. We partner with local places like Dream and Green, right, to pursue these different projects and to get like environmental resiliency in schools, and hopefully we can all come together and make some of these things happen for you all. If you have any questions at all, my email is right there. I also run the social media pages if you are to contact us on that, and I can send you in any direction or answer any questions that you all have about our programs. So thank you. I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen for you, Marianne, just in case.
So we already have a couple questions in the chat. The first one is from Scarlett. It's for Sophia. She's asking if the Green Accelerator project is already underway in some of the communities that you mentioned.
Yeah, so the Green Infrastructure Accelerator project is funding to go out into the community and then design. Unfortunately, it does not provide funding in order to implement any of these designs, but the goal is once we have a design in place, we have the connections in local government, whether it be Miami-Dade County or the municipal governments, in order to go to their meetings and actually present a well-rounded option for green infrastructure in whatever area is being proposed. So for example, in Larchmont Park, where we're proposing that whole green infrastructure, that actually is already being looked at because there's funding in place for green infrastructure for the South Florida Water Management District's canals. So that's something like we're trying to show the decision makers that are already making decisions on different canal banks or unused land that there are green infrastructure options in these underutilized and underfunded areas. So if you want an update on like our projects and how that's going, there's a whole slideshow on our website. It's the Green Infrastructure Accelerator project on our website, and then you click, I'm not sure where the button is or what the button is called, but it leads you straight out into how that process works and what the next steps are. I think we have a couple more meetings coming up this summer with different local municipalities. I think Overtown is coming up next, and then El Portal, we still have to have that meeting with them again. So we're still all over the place with like getting the community input, but then when it comes to like actually implementing that, I hope that answers your question.
And I don't know if it's the right link, but I did put the Green Infrastructure Accelerator project page in the chat. Thank you so much, Sophia, for sharing that. I think it's really important because, you know, we're more than just a school district. There's communities outside of our schools that are great learning opportunities when these types of projects are implemented. The second question is from Christina. I semi-answered it, but want to open it up to the presenters. She is asking if you guys branch out to other areas in Broward County, like Coral Springs, Deerfield, and Coconut Creek.
So definitely YEA branches out to all of those as well.
Same with Dream and Green.
Hi,
Challenge supports.
can you hear me, Mallory? Well, yeah, the question is for Mallory. Hi, my name is Aralda and I work with Marion. So I love your program, and I've always wondered, every time I pick up my kids from school, they have this huge, like you said, greenery, and it's kind of sad to see it. So I want my kids to learn where French fries come from. Who do you contact at school? Is it the principal? How do I connect you with?
So it's normally the teacher, right? So the teacher,
okay.
yeah, whichever teacher that is involved, usually within environmental science, but it can be within any, I want to say for the the principals, I want to say it's mostly the environmental science teachers or just science teachers if it's in the younger grades. And then once we contact your teacher, they can kind of contact other teachers as well. So that way we can kind of connect all of the grades or all of the classes and come in and maybe get everyone involved. The principal, I personally haven't worked on that side. I have yet to speak to a principal in general in any of the programs I've done, to be honest. So it depends on the school as well, because I know if there's a magnet program or anything involved, or environmental club program or somebody else that's involved with this as well, getting them to maybe contact the teachers or get them involved and excited about it is usually your best bet. But just even talking to your child's teacher and having them contact us, be like, hey, contact them to get your garden looking great, because we have the grants for it. You know, we just need the teachers and the students to give it to.
Oh, so this would be free for them?
Some of them, if they're in the fields that I just mentioned, right, they just have to fill out some paperwork and they can get some free programs.
Okay, yes, I'm talking, my kids are in elementary school. Well, one is going to middle school, so I don't know if that qualifies as well, but I'm going to try and connect. You would be the right person for this?
Yeah, go ahead and give them my email. I can send it in the chat as well, just to make it easy, and our website.
Okay, and you do the hands-on and everything, right? Sorry, I didn't mean to overtake the whole.
No, you're right.
Selfishly speaking here from my. Okay, all right, perfect. I will send you an email. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I saw that Eric raised his hand. It's now down. But if you still have a question, okay, perfect. So we're gonna go to Christina's second question, and then I'll move on to Eric. Christina's from a charter school, and she doesn't have a field. They actually operate in a plaza. So what kinds of projects could you do for schools in that kind of situation where they don't have a lot of land or green space?
I don't know if anybody else wants to take that, but we can definitely, we personally can do garden boxes out front or out back, just on the side of the wall, anywhere, you know, or hanging plants even. We can do indoor plants, because there are some indoor plants, not very native, but you know, if you keep them indoor, they're not invasive. So that's, and now, you know, that's a whole nother class that you can take, is how to take care of your non-native indoor plants, right? So there are tons of ways that we can definitely get you a garden in a charter school, I promise.
Same, I was just going to jump in. We, the last couple of years, in one of our like green living, there's so many alternatives to just the traditional outdoor garden. There's vertical gardens, as you mentioned. There are, you can make a pot out of anything, you know, and reuse some items, and plant indoors, plant on the walls. So there are definitely ways to do that. So we can share some additional resources if you reach out to us.
Awesome. And Eric, you're free to unmute now.
Oh, thank you for that. How you doing? How's
Good,
everybody
how are you?
today? Thanks for this information and having this forum. It's super cool. I'm the director of strategic partnerships for Broward County Public Schools, and I was so excited. One of our board members forwarded this link to me and said this would be something interesting for me to jump on, and I was so excited when she did so. But really, what I wanted to say is that we really are excited when businesses, entities, companies, or whomever it is have opportunities for our communities and our students. So I had just dropped a link in there because what we like to do is build more opportunities for our schools. And what we normally do is we clear businesses that have resources, and it also opened the doors and it gets the word out a lot more. So that's what the superintendent screening program really serves as. And I've tried to beef it up this year to get more people and more involved so our schools know what's going on and share the information. So I just wanted to share that, and that I like this opportunity also to be here. And that's really what I want to share.
Thank you so much. I have personally seen the Broward County's amazing list of like, I don't know, it's maybe 5 pages of all the environmental partners that you guys have. It's an amazing resource. I'll have to dig it up and send it to everyone after the meeting, because a lot of them operate outside of Broward County as well.
Yep. Thanks, Marian.
Problem. So I have a personal question. How can schools get involved with you guys? Is it best to email you, call? Is there any forms that need to be filled out?
So yeah, for Miami Waterkeeper, just reach out to us, email us. You can email me directly, and we can organize whatever you have in mind. So we can organize a field trip where we take the kids out. They can do a beach cleanup. We can do a floating classroom where we take them out on the water. We can do a yeah day where it's like a cleanup / educational activity. Or we can go to you, do presentations with you, or an activity in your classroom. You can also do a private cleanup, and then you can also do a public cleanup, join one of our public ones for free. There's many options, and I'd be happy to, whoever is interested, just email me and I'll talk more about that. But yeah.
And so to get involved with us, I spoke about our school program, which is we do registration. We're going to be opening registration for next year pretty soon. And I'll put our website and our contact information. I also wanted to share that we have a couple of events for adults coming up. We run an adult outreach program called Water and Energy Learning and Behavior. We do that also in Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach, where we do presentations for local communities related to how individuals can lower their utility bills by reducing their water and energy consumption and recycle correctly. And this is all in the umbrella of how we can reduce our carbon footprint. So I'll put our link, because we do have a couple of workshops, 5 in City of Miami, but we are going to be in Palm Beach County soon in mid-June. So if anybody's interested in attending one of those workshops, we'd give toolkits afterwards with some goodies to implement what you learned immediately when you get home. So I'll put my contact information on the chat.
Awesome. And then same goes for us. If you want to email me, I'll send it in the chat as well. And I can kind of send you off to any of our employees or information that you may need to get started to set up your program. We do in-class programs, we do field trips, we do a multitude of different things, and we customize our programs to the grades that need them, right? All the credentials for science class that you need and the requirements, we're here to meet them for you. And again, it depends on if you meet the requirements school-wise as well when you fill out those grant papers, if you are a teacher. And then you can get some of the free field trips by filling that out. And again, if you email me, I can just send you that paperwork myself. Or if it's somebody else, like we heard earlier, Aralda, and you want your school to do it or your child's school to do it, just like send our website over to them, just have them take a look at it so they can see some of our programs or social media, and maybe just have them email us after that, and we can see if we can get something started, so that way, and maybe find grants even to help you guys out, so that way it convinces them like, hey, let's get this done, let's put nature back into the school, right?
I will do that. Absolutely. Even though it's the end of the school year, but you might not hear back. Yeah, you might not hear back
Right.
from
It's
them
all right.
until
We will start back up whenever school, August, right? We'll
I
get
know.
back
Yes,
started in
August. August. Yes, end of August. Barbara, do you have a link on your? Oh, there it is. You've just posted. Never mind. Ignore. For the adults classes. Is that
I'll
the link?
post a link. No, this one is for the schools, but I will share for WeLab.
Perfect. Thank you so much, both of you, or all 3 of you. Sorry.
Thank you all so much for all your comments and questions. Before we close out, a little bit early, so you guys get a couple extra minutes. I do want to let you know that this is one of the South Florida Regional Planning Council's first outreach to schools in a while. And we're always here to partner. If you need tools, resources, we operate at a kind of higher level. So if any of the school districts need help with a grant application, want to start a pilot project on anything, we work in all sectors: transportation, housing, environmental resilience, you name it. So feel free to reach out, and thank you all so much for joining. And thank you to our presenters. You guys were great.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody.
All right,
Bye-bye. Thank you.